Yep, it's a video about cleaning your house. Here's the thing. I have a lot of friends, and some of them are like me. They're guys who live by themselves. I also know some other folks who live by themselves. You can get into a point in your life where what kind of space do I want to live in and that kind of thing. If you want to have people over or you want to get into a relationship, having a clean space is really important. It's also important just for the fact of like being able to do things in your house without thinking about, hey, I've got this mess that I should do something about, but I'm not. And I'm going to tackle that someday. And literally, if you're watching this and thinking, oh, but, surely people clean their. I have several male friends my age. I haven't cleaned my house in a year. And I'm like, what? Or I just kind of pick up, but, not really. Whoa. Like a lot of things, it's all about like, where do I start and what do I do? Maybe this video will help you kind of sort through that. Nobody wants to be a slob. I've been a slob in my life at times, and I've found that to have calm in my life, which is the primary goal, having a relatively clean space to live in has been really important to me. Hopefully this will help you out. Take it from there. You want to clean your house, where do you start? Well, one of the first things that I'll do is go out around and get all the trash cans and empty them into my main trash can. Then I proceed to start wiping down all the surfaces. And usually I'll start in my bathroom, wipe down the counters and do the toilet and then, the shower sometimes. And then I'll move on to dusting a bit. I'm not a huge person on the dusting front. Kind of sketch that around a little bit. Then I come in and I'll do the kitchen and I'll wipe down all those surfaces. And when I'm doing that, I'm really not trying to avoid getting it on the floor. If I get it on the floor, it's no big deal because then the next step is that I'm going to sweep. There's a couple ways you can think about that. One is to actually get a dustpan and a broom and go around and sweep stuff up. The other thing is everybody knows your vacuum has that one setting where you're not on the carpet, but it's still sucking air through. I'll do that if I'm in a hurry. It doesn't do as good a job as actually sweeping. And then I will vacuum the carpeted parts of my house. I have just a couple carpets because mostly I have wood floors and tile like in here. Then I mop or use like one of those Swifter kinds of things. All in all, to do this, I clean once a week mostly. And when I go through that whole process, maybe it takes me half an hour, 40 minutes maybe. I don't have a huge house to kind of see the general layout, but it's no different than like a kind of a larger sized apartment. I do have a basement too, but I don't really go down there much and Sam doesn't either. So I only clean that occasion, 30, 40 minutes a week and it's done, and the thing is, again, like I live by myself. So it's one of those deals where like I don't have anybody else coming in here and making a mess. Like when I was younger and had kids in the house, God bless you is all I gotta say. But if you're like me and this is kind of you have a space and it's yours and maybe you got a pet or something, no big deal. Just taking care of it. I don't think about it then. It's not unconsciously kind of burdening me. And maybe this kind of stuff doesn't bother you at all. And more power to you. For me, it's been, kind of part of one of the disciplines that I do to keep things straight in my life and to have a bit of calm and know where things are. Over here, you can see kind of the things I use. So I've got, a typical vacuum you could get anywhere. I got a Swifter. I got a broom. I got some of this glass cleaner spray, and I like this glass cleaner. Found it some years ago. I got some leather conditioning wipes that I use for my couch. I've got some 409. These are Swifter pads. Usually it takes like 2.5 to do my house. I got some dust spray and some Febreze that sometimes I use, sometimes I don't. There's the dustpan back there hiding. Then over the last several years, I've really tried to be more ecologically conscious about what I'm doing. And one of the things that I've done is to pretty much really substantially reduce the amount of paper waste. Most of the time when I'm cleaning, rags and towels and scrubber sponge type deals, but there are a couple things like mirrors that in my experience it's better to have paper towels. And yeah, I really was good for like the entire period of the pandemic. I really got completely away from using paper towels, but recently, I moved my mom into a memory care unit from her apartment, and she doesn't need to have paper towels because the staff there come in and clean her room and stuff like that. So I inherited a case of paper towels that she had, and yeah, they're kind of nice. I'm trying to use those up. I'm not using them extensively because really I can use the other things for, all the surfaces that I do. So at this point, I'm just going to kind of start doing something and show you. I'm going to clean my bathroom first and then take it from there. Oh, and I already had pretty much unloaded the trash because the trash guy comes tomorrow. So I'm not doing that step, but normally I would start by, going around getting all the trash cans and emptying them into my main trash can here in the kitchen. Here I am in my bathroom, and one of the first things I want to do is get rid of any clutter that's on my counters so that I can wipe them off. The next thing that I would do is to pick up my floor rugs. Once a week or so I wash these. I'm gonna pitch them up into another room so I can do that because then I'm gonna be able to sweep it easier and all that kind of stuff. So then cleaning up this counter, and you're like, wow, that doesn't look that dirty. But earlier this week I needed to wear a pair of dress shoes, and I polished my shoes up here. And so you can't really see it, but there's some little black shoe polish kind of in some of the tiles. And so I'm gonna take care of that first, get rid of all those little black specks, and then kind of work my way around the whole area, sprayed it down. And it's worth it sometimes to get up here on the wall tiles too, just to get that squared away and get behind things. And these, faucets get water spots on them and crap like that. And if you use lotion or anything like that, that always ends up on here somewhere. Kind of clean out the sink, same way. Scrubber sponges are cheap, couple bucks, and they last for a while. Got that wrapped up. Then I can go up here, hit the mirror, and then again, here's where the paper towels are a nicer option. Get this mirror wiped off. So again, you'd be surprised what'll get on it. And then I can go forward and wipe this stuff down. Maybe get a little water on this rag to finish it off. Every once in a while too, worthwhile to clean up your light switches, because you touch them a lot. I saw a really gross video about it. I don't really know if it's true or not, but something to think about at 2 o'clock in the morning when you wake up. Now that's pretty much done, right? So I've wrapped up that surface. So then, of course, we've got our toilet. So how do we clean that? So the first thing I'm gonna do is, oops, I should have shown you, I got some Comet. Get a toilet brush, get in there, hit it up. That's about all it takes. Leave that in there, and then I'm gonna take that, put that up like that, kind of do the whole thing. Do under this part too. And then again, I can just use this same thing that I just used to do this. Wipe all this off. Wipe off the seat, wipe off this. Wipe behind it. Yeah, there we go. I'm done with that. And I can leave that comment in there for a little bit, and that will help, sanitize it and everything else. As far as showers go, I don't clean those as often, and I had actually cleaned it last week. So I'm done in here except for sweeping and mopping the floor, which I'm going to do later. So obviously I just wipe my toilet with this, so I'm not going to keep it around. So I'll pitch it in there with the other stuff, and we'll call that good. Now it's time to wipe down the counters. Pretty simple operation, go through and just kind of wipe stuff off. And again, I am not worried about getting shit on the floor because it doesn't matter. If you have to go around things, that's fine, but it's nice to be able to just have kind of a clear space, which I usually have anyway because I do cook fairly often. Get through there and do that. Hi, Sam. How are you? And then go over here. Put those away. Kind of just work around this stuff. Get things out of the way. Over here, cleaning the stove is something that I kind of do it when it bothers me, I guess is the best way to put it. When I can look down in there and see, oh crud, some stuff spilled out from one of my pans and it's gotten crusty and stuff, then I clean it out. Other than that, mostly I just kind of wipe down those surfaces again. Just kind of wipe things down and call it good. I can see that something kind of got there. Take care of that. And then, microwaves, they can get gross a little bit. This one has. Something kind of blew up in there. And this is a good spot. I can use this spray, but also to go get some water on the rag I'm using and get back in there and just kind of let that spray kind of break it down a little bit. Go in here, wipe it down, and I know, people are going to be like, oh, you're not being very thorough. No, I'm not. But the other thing about it is that every once in a while, I could go hog wild and clean, the whole place super thoroughly and like move carpets and do all that kind of stuff. And maybe I do that like once or twice a year. Most of the time, I've talked about this in other videos, like I'm on my way to whatever the next thing is that isn't doing this kind of stuff. I want to do a thorough enough job so that it's good enough. It's kind of like the guys cleaning out the car in Pulp Fiction. Maybe not that level. I want to clean it up, but I also am not going to get obsessive about it and completely want to get every single speck of everything out, because it's just going to get messed up again here in a little bit. So clean it up as best I can and call it good. And this is bugging me right here though. That's bugging me. It's bugging me. That's annoying. Maybe I'm just going to have to let that go. Pretty much, I got everything out. Again, wiping stuff out. It doesn't, I don't need to pick it up or anything. And then I can make sure that anything that fell down here, I'm just wiping it off onto the floor. Okay, so here's another spot where, the paper towel is a superior invention. I'm sorry, Lydia. Here I'm going to use the glass spray again and get this all wiped out, because I don't care what kind of refrigerator you get or what they tell you about being resistant to fingerprints, they just aren't. So just kind of get that wiped down, go all the way down. Am I scrubbing the surface at every possibility? No. Am I Gonna move all these magnets? No, I'm not. But am I going to clean that relatively thoroughly? Yeah, I mean, it's done. Done. It's good enough. Almost. Now, dusting. Dusting is annoying. I'm sorry, it just is. But it's something that if you don't do it for a while, you're kind of like, oh, geez. You can see it. It's worthwhile to do it, especially it's wintertime here now. Can't open up the house, and for whatever reason, dust seems to accumulate. It's drier, generally speaking, and so you get more dust, and that's just the way that is. And if you have a pet, you're gonna have more dust, which is actually dead skin cells from your animal. So there's that for you. I'm really pretty lazy about dusting. What I'll do is get one of these rags again, hit it with some of this spray, and then I just kind of walk around and work on some of the surfaces where, we're gonna see that dust. I'll turn this around, the tops of things or where dust collects. Hit the windowsills a little bit. The top edges of paintings is another place. And you'll notice, like, I'm not being too fussy about this and just kind of hitting, places that I can see as best I can. That's a little off balance. Up here, when you got these like collections of things and I don't really feel like moving it, this kind of does something, right? It does it a little bit. Hit some of these open spaces and maybe move a couple things a little bit. Every once in a while, maybe I go crazy, there's guitar down. Just kind of working my way around doing that kind of stuff again to hit the tops, maybe the sides, ledges of things, stuff like that. And then, like, where dust bothers me the most is on like workspaces and things like that. Just working my way around the whole house and hitting those surfaces. How long does that take? 5 minutes, and then that's done. Done with that. And if you see, this is my dog Sam. This is Sam's, he's cleaning the house face. He's really not into it that much. Anyway, pretty soon when I start vacuuming, you'll see him jet out of here for less vacuumy locales. So I finished with the dusting, and now kind of last thing to do on that kind of like wiping stuff down front is to clean this coffee table that I have, just wiping it off. Yeah, I forgot about using the leather wipes on the couch, and I'm not going to disturb him. I actually wiped it down last week. It's not something I do every week. We're just going to leave him be for a minute, let him just keep taking his mid-morning rest and licking the couch. Yeah, there you go. Okay, now we've reached the sweeping stage of things. I start in the bathroom, and that's just kind of the layout of my house. It works best that way. Sweeping is just kind of a matter of hitting every surface, every square inch of the area that I'm in. And I'm just gonna come behind here for a second and kind of hit this up. And then I'm just hitting all these areas and sweeping it up. And I know you can't see it, but I am getting some stuff, despite the fact that I do this every week. There's always something. So then I'm just sweeping it out here into the hallway. And then I just continue that process throughout the whole rest of the house. It's just work through. When I get enough dust and dog hair and stuff like that, then I sweep it up into the dustpan and throw it in the trash. And you'd be surprised at how much stuff you get, especially if you have a dog or a cat or something. Okay, just to kind of put a wrap on the sweeping situation. So this is what I got out of my hallway and the front part of my house. What's in there? There's a readily identifiable piece of a dog toy and a piece of dog food and some unidentified other substances. That's we're tracking stuff in all the time. He's a dog. He tracks stuff in. This is what gets in your house, and if you let it build up, it would be a lot more substantial than that. I'm going to sweep that up and throw it away and then move on to the mopping stage. Not the mopping stage, the vacuuming stage. And the reason that I'm doing that is this is kind of the final pass to pick up like particulate matter that might be laying around on my carpets and on the edges of that. And so I want to do that before I mop. One thing about vacuum cleaners is that if you've ever taken one apart, it's gross. It's definitely something that you want to make sure you empty this every time you use it. You'd be, again, kind of shocked at how much is in there, and I'll show you. Every once in a while, I will also take it apart and clean out the whole thing. Now, how often do I do that? I know somebody who does it once a month. I think that's crazy. I will do that like maybe once every 6 months or so. Maybe a little bit longer than that sometimes. We'll take a look. If you've never looked before, it's not a pretty sight. So at this point, I'm gonna vacuum the carpets, working the whole surface of whatever it is that you're vacuuming, covering all the bases, you know, use a pattern, whatever you wanna do. If you have carpet in your whole house, do it, approach it like that, like the sweeping thing. Trying to hit every square inch of what's there, at least with a good solid pass. I did want to say this about your vacuum cleaner cord. I used to be the kind of person like you know how you have these little things here on the vacuum where you can wrap the cord around it? Well, I wouldn't use that. I just kind of wrap it up kind of around my arm and stick it over the handle. And then I found that it started to bind up and the cord gets all twisted, and it's just like, it's a nightmare. Guess what? You know, that's there for a reason. And so if you're like, wow, Jim, really smart. Yep. I got a PhD and everything. I got it all straightened out again. And then I started wrapping around that thing. And guess what? I don't have any problems with the twisting and the binding and all that. Another thing that you'll notice here is that I added an extension cord onto it. And it's only like a 4-foot cord, but it was enough so that I can plug it in one place and I can do everything. Prior to that, I was having to move, you know, outlets. And what's this all about? Efficiency. I don't want to be cleaning. And so if I can avoid that by having a 4-foot extension cord on there, it's totally worth it. All right, let's check it out. Let's see what we got in here. So, and I click the button, pull it off, and then let's go take this and throw it in the trash can. So we'll see what treasures we uncovered. I've got 3 fairly good-sized area rugs in my house, and that's it. So let's see if I can hold this and open it at the same time. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. So look at all that. That's all just from, you know, approximately 1 week. Dog hair, lots of dust, you know, whatever else is in that. Yeah, vacuum your house. It's a good thing. Now we've reached the final stage of the house cleaning, kind of regular weekly kind of deal, and that's mopping. Now, I'm using the Swifter. Sometimes I do mop, but right now I'm out of, got the bald guy on it. I'm out of that. And so Swiftering is probably about 80% as effective as actually like fully mopping everything. And frankly, it's easier. I'm not going to show a ton of that, but it's pretty straightforward. I mean, the one thing about it that I like is it kind of has that noise of the spray coming out of it. It's fairly satisfying to me for some reason. So I enjoy that. I'm going to go ahead and Swifter the rest of my house. How long does that take? 10 minutes tops. Efficiency, getting things done. So I'm done mopping. I do this every week, and this is kind of the result. And obviously you can see there's a bit of dirt on there, right? The high traffic areas by the doors into my house or the stairs from my basement are obviously going to be worse. Wherever you walk a lot, you're going to have more dirt. It just builds up. The only other living creature in here other than my plants is Sam. He tracks in some stuff. I also track in stuff. Hitting it with this Swifter gets, 90% of it. It's good enough. So that's a wrap on this cleaning video. I've learned how to do it in a practical way that works for me. No judgment on anybody. If you thinking about these things and like, I don't know what to do, this could be helpful to you. I hope so. This is something that it's taken me about an hour to shoot this video. If I was just going at it, I would have been done cleaning the house in half an hour pretty easily. There are times where I'm gonna move every piece of furniture and get out from under everything and really go to town. That might take a couple hours, but I don't do that very often, kind of maybe spring and fall kind of situation. Maybe once during the winter when we have a blizzard or something like that. By and large, it's a good discipline for me in that it keeps the clutter down. I'm not thinking about it, so therefore I can turn my attentions to where my hands are, what I'm doing right now. And so I hope, again, that's helpful for you. If you like this video or this kind of stuff, leave a comment. If I was doing something totally wrong, let me know. I'm happy to engage with that. Like and subscribe if you care for this kind of content. Thanks. Bye.